You are watching the Southwestern American Choral Directors Association Connections podcast. Please like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel for future content.
Welcome, everybody. We're here for another episode. It's been a while. And the last time that we had Mr. Eric Cooley on was season 1. Yeah, episode 3, way back when, 2 years ago or so. I know that from meeting Eric several times that things have changed a little bit since then. So if you want to hear his bio background, go back to that episode 3. But Eric, welcome, and tell me and tell the rest of us what has changed. What's up with you?
Yeah, like you said, my name is Eric Cooley. I'm currently the choir director in Prosper, Texas at Walnut Grove High School. When I moved into the role of honor choir organizer, I was moving to this school from Burleson Centennial down in Burleson, Texas. And I'm happy to be back for my 3rd convention. I am also currently the president-elect of TCDA. That is a new development in the last year. So I've got a couple of hats on this year. Got a new assistant in my office and a great team behind me in my district. And I'm excited to be a part of this team.
Yeah, you're very, very busy. so thank you. We are recording this on Labor Day, so thanks for carving out some time to do this. We brought you on today so that we could talk a little bit about the graded honor choirs and the process and that portal opening up, and kind of give everybody who wants to consume the information in a different way an opportunity to hear you kind of talk through the process and things. So why don't you start us off there with what are the graded honor choirs? Maybe talk us through who are the guest conductors and that sort of thing.
The graded honor choirs for SWACDA are a great opportunity for students in 4th through 12th grade to engage with clinicians and conductors from around the world of renown, to connect with their peers from the southwestern region of the United States, and to make some really incredible music outside of their home environments. We've got some really stellar clinicians on board this year. I think that would rival many of our national convention opportunities and even many of the what I would consider Texas state opportunities for our kids. And we've really been encouraging a lot of our people in Texas to look left and right and take advantage of this opportunity. We've got Rollo Dilworth, we've got Elena Sharkova. This year we've got Elizabeth Nunez. Christine Guter is the high school jazz choir conductor. And then we've also got Gary Packwood and Elizabeth Hogan, just a really stellar group of people that have picked some really exciting and engaging music for our students this year. And we think it's a really worthwhile opportunity for students to pursue and directors to support their kids engaging and to make music at a really high level outside of their environment, to get to meet students from all over the United States and to learn from people and their peers in a really unique way. Something that's really unique about this year's opportunity is that just like in Denver, we've had the 4 through 6 treble for the elementary students. We've had the 7 to 9 tenor bass, the 7 to 9 treble. And then in Denver, we have the 10 through 12 mixed choir. This year, we have a special 12th grade mixed choir. And so they're separated out in their own group. 10-11 has a mixed choir opportunity that Rollo Dilworth will be conducting, and Elena Sharkova will be conducting the 12th grade mixed choir. And so those 2 groups are separate this year. They will be auditioned separately. Both of them are Divisi choirs, SATB with 8-part options for Divisi. But they will have their unique experiences there. So Denver, they were combined, and this opportunity, they would be split. What's also unique about this year's choirs is that the tenor bass choir is being auditioned as a 3-part ensemble. The 7 through 9 ensemble lends itself to more tenor bass division because of the grade levels involved. And we thought that would be developmentally a little more appropriate than 4-part Divisi with the grades that were involved in our region. The national choirs involve 8 to 10, and they have TTBB. And so as we were offering 7 to 9, we decided TTB would be a great option. And our repertoire reflects that Divisi as well. 7 to 9 treble is still SSAA. Most of the music is 3-part treble. And there's some 2-part repertoire and 4-part repertoire in there as well. But they will be auditioned SSAA. with a special eye to the ranges appropriate for 7th to 9th grade singers in that choir. Elizabeth Nunez did a really great job picking challenging and exciting repertoire, but with an eye to the ranges appropriate for that age group. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for the breakdown and the rundown of all that. Sounds like a great opportunity for students of all grade levels and voicings, and I think it's going to be a wonderful experience for them with these top-notch conductors. I hope to have them on pretty soon as well, each conductor, to kind of go through their philosophies and what they've programmed and what they're excited about. So hopefully we'll have them on to talk briefly to get everybody excited about it. But what we do have coming up in just 2 days from this recording, and I probably won't get this out by then, is the portal opening for the auditions for these graded honor choirs. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Over the last several rotations of the SWACDA conferences, we've used a system called Opus to administer our auditions. If our members are familiar with the National Honor Choir audition process from last year in Dallas, we used a system that was administered through the national portal. Behind the scenes, it was called Cognito Forms, but through the membership portal, it was very like you logged into the national website and you uploaded your files. That model has now been extended to all of the regions to administer our audition process. It's a lot simpler on the front end. It is really like you log in with your membership ID, you add a kid, and you attach their files and you complete the audition submission process. It really is pretty straightforward. Opus presented us with a lot of opportunities to be very specific and very granular with our data, but it also presented us with a lot of challenges. We had a lot of issues with keeping information current and a lot of multiple accounts. And through this new system, we've kind of streamlined all of the data collection. Members who are registering students have their entry information. They submit it one time, they log into their account. And like many of us in our state audition processes, all of our students appear under our account that we have with our national membership. And we can just continue to submit students in that window, through that window for the portal being open for this process. Our elementary students have 2 files they'll submit, and our middle school and high school students will have at least 3 files to submit. And I say at least 3 because our high school jazz has some special requirements that they will submit, and they're slightly different than our more traditional choirs that are there. So, like I said, the national process is being extended to the region processes. We are no longer using Opus. And all of the audition submissions will be managed through members' ACDA membership account that will be linked through their ACDA membership number. So make sure your membership accounts are current through the audition window, and you can submit students for that process pretty easily through their portal.
Great. I doubt it will happen, but should parents or guardians come across this video and think that they can just register their student themselves, we just need to clarify that you need to be a current member of ACDA to.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. All students must have an ACDA, an active or retired ACDA member to be entered into this process. And when I say retired, we've got choir directors who are now voice teachers and things like that have different levels of membership, but you must have a current ACDA member sponsor your admission in this process.
And maybe we should encourage those that are non-ACDA members to go through the choir director that will be sponsoring the students should you have questions as a kind of filter first, and then they can direct any questions to you or your team. What would be a good place for people to ask those questions should they arise? Most of the information, we should say, is on the website, so you shouldn't need to ask a lot of questions because you've been very thorough on updating the website and all of the info and the documents. So that's very much appreciated. So most of the time, if people just read, they'll find all the info right there. But should they have questions, where can they direct those questions?
Yeah, Chris Brown is the co-chair. He and I can both be reached at honorchoirs@swacda.org. We have a special email address set up specifically for this process. We are happy to answer emails, but like Jeff said, we have a really lengthy document about expectations and requirements for student participants. If students and directors are participating in this and have done so in the past, there aren't a lot of changes in our policies and procedures and expectations for our members. There's just a new choir, and then there's a new audition portal. One of the other significant changes that we have made this year, instead of auditioning My Country 'Tis of Thee or the Jubilate Deo that by Praetorius that we've used in the past for our elementary students, we've actually selected a portion of each choir's repertoire for audition. And so they will submit their scales and their vocalises. They will submit a selection from one song. And we have tracks and materials posted on our website for students to access there. And then there's student selected solo repertoire recordings. And so there is a change to some of the material being collected, but the number of elements, the types of elements being collected, and the policies and procedures related to our organizations have not significantly changed in the last two conventions, and they remain generally intact for this convention as well.
That's perfect. We did talk about this a little bit before we started recording. You're maybe like many others that are in school districts, you're unable to share screen through Zoom right now on a work device. So maybe we're going to try this. Maybe I can share screen, take us to the website just to guide people through the buttons and the familiarity with the layout and that sort of thing. If this doesn't work or it doesn't record correctly or whatever, I can edit in later, but we'll give this a shot. Maybe my screen can be seen here. There we go.
That looks pretty successful to me. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
so,
what do we need to know here? You talk us through.
Excellent. So Margie Camp and I have been working pretty hard to make sure that this is a one-stop shop for our members. And so at the top, you'll see a scroller of all of our conductors, our wonderful clinicians. They're going to take care of our students in Albuquerque. And if you scroll and hover over their faces, you'll see what choirs they're conducting as well. And they'll rotate through, and you can see that as they go. Dr. Packwood, Miss Hogan, and Christine Guter from USC. Underneath, there's some general thoughts and processes about why we think your students should participate in these choirs. Before we explore the buttons that are just below those statements, I'd like to scroll just a little bit further and look at these timelines here. The graded honor choir audition timeline is very similar, but a little different than the high school jazz honor choir timeline. And so here all honor choirs open on September 3rd with an audition for the graded honor choirs ending on October 8th. And so that's the 4 to 6 treble, the 7 to 9 tenor bass, the 7 to 9 treble, and the 2 mixed choirs. The high school jazz honor choir timeline for audition submission ends, I believe, October 23rd. If you could scroll down just a little bit. Yep, that's correct. October 23rd. Communication windows for acceptances, deadlines for form submissions, and receipt of music and return of form and payment of fees are all outlined very clearly here. And it's really important that our members and their directors understand those timelines and do their best to adhere to them in the process, because it really impacts our ability to communicate with students and directors and get them the materials they need to be successful in Albuquerque in March. While we're down here on this portion of the screen, you will see that the honor choir hotel and lodging information is posted here over to the side. In Denver, we used the Embassy Suites as our main hotel for our students, but we were sharing that hotel with some other organizations and some other activities going on. It was really challenging to get all of our students in that building. And we did have other hotels for students to stay in. That being said, in Albuquerque, the DoubleTree is our hotel. We are the only thing staying in that hotel, and all Honor Choir members are expected to book and reserve their rooms once they have received their notifications into this hotel. There is a variable rate, but all of the rates include breakfast for the people staying in the rooms. And what I mean by variable rate is there's a double to quadruple member occupancy rate of $213 to $237 a night, plus tax for those members. If you're a local or in-state person, I'm assuming there are state exemptions for government entities that you can apply for to get those taxes removed. I'm not sure that applies to out-of-state travelers, but you can navigate that with your state and your school travel offices if that relates to you. Hotel reservations for out-of-state travelers should be booked no later than January 2nd, so that we can make sure that everybody's got their needs taken care of, and we can find additional hotel blocks should there be shortages for our members or their chaperones. If we can scroll back up just a little bit. Over to the on the right-hand side of the page, audition fees for honor choirs. Every choir, no matter which choir you're applying for, whether it's the high school jazz or the standard or the more traditional graded honor choirs, are $25 per application. You may submit applications for the high school mixed choirs and the high school jazz choirs. However, if you are selected to both, you must pick which choir you would like to sing in, as those choirs rehearse at the exact same time. So while you can apply to both, you must select one of those two choirs to perform with while in Albuquerque if you are accepted for membership. Below that, you'll see the participation fees. Those are the fees due if you are selected for membership. Those include your music that will be shipped to you, the event fees, the general cost for hosting the event in Albuquerque, as well as lunches that are provided for students on 2 days of the conference, and the conference t-shirt that we will wear during the performances on the final day. Other information about honor choir commitments for parents and chaperones and an unofficial rehearsal schedule are linked here on the form for students and teachers to review to help plan their time in Albuquerque. Everyone participating in the honor choirs is expected to arrive no later than Wednesday afternoon for registration and rehearsal in the early evening on Wednesday afternoon. If you're interested in what choirs are performing, you can see there's a button at the top of the screen that's visible to you right now that says Graded Honor Choir Repertoire. Let's go ahead and click on that and just open that up. This features, or should, there we go, all of the choir's repertoire for the 2026 conference. We will shortly reveal a tab that has the Jazz Honor Choir repertoire on here as well. It is available to us, and we will reveal that tab shortly. But you can scroll through and see all of the unique and diverse repertoire that has been selected for your choirs, and get your students excited about the opportunities they have to make music with these fantastic conductors in Albuquerque. If we go back to the main page and scroll up, general audition application information is here. And if you'll click over to that link, we'll go through this pretty quickly. Our members can read, so I'm going to not dig too deeply into this, but it outlines the general philosophy of what we're offering here, the choirs, and the voice parts available to students appear at the top of the page. And as you go further down, it'll talk about registration and then specific audition materials for each ensemble. And we'll not click on each one of those separately just now. We're going to continue through the page. As you can see, the timeline that's available to our members, a reiteration of the audition fees and how they are different, the audition fee payment situation. Directors, you will have an opportunity to pay your fee directly for your students, bulk or one at a time, or send payment links to your district or to your students' parents for them to directly pay the fees through the ACDA registration portal. That is a new opportunity for you this year. I know directors have asked for that in the past or had to collect money from their parents and then submit a payment on behalf of their families. And the system this year will allow individual payment on behalf of families because you can send them a link to help them do that. There is a basic application overview here, reiterating that membership validation will be a part of the process. You must be an active member to enter students. If your membership is not current, you will not see the entry portal for the honor choir process. You must update your membership in order to even see the open call for the honor choir process for this year. Additional consideration, students auditioning for multiple choirs. And if you are a director with an invited choir, the schedule for your students must be something you consider in this process. You already have your notifications of being accepted as an invited choir. And so if you are entering students in the auditioned choir process for the graded honor choirs, please consider the schedules you're asking your students to keep and how that might overlap with your engagements in Albuquerque as an invited choir. A few more details about expectations for expected singers and the fees that are there. Chaperone requirements. All students must have a designated chaperone while they're in Albuquerque. It does not have to be the director that submits them. It can be a parent or a guardian. And a parent or a guardian or a district chaperone can serve as a chaperone for multiple students. However, if a director of record is an ACDA member and chooses to serve as a chaperone, they must be registered for the conference. They may not attend just as a chaperone and float behind their students for the duration of the conference. Information about lodging and transportation is included, and it should be made clear to our members that ACDA and SWACDA do not do any booking or lodging of student transportation for this event. You are 100% required to book and maintain the records for your own transportation for your students. We provide the hotel block, but the arrangements are on the director and the students' families to coordinate all of that. Recognizing that this is an expensive process for students and programs, SWACDA does have an opportunity to extend financial aid applications for our members, and we want to make you aware of that, and that we will be providing an application for scholarships once the audition process closes. And so here's some information about that as well. Jeff, if you'll scroll back up to the audition materials, I'm just going to explore one of the documents right now because most of them are similar. If you'll look at the 7 to 9 treble, I think it's pretty. It's a pretty good template. Again, it outlines. We've tried to repeat our materials as many times as possible, so you directors can see as much information as many times as possible. We've outlined scoring criteria that is going to be used for every element of the audition process. There will be a standardized rubric used by all of our screeners to review the submitted data. The first upload for every singer, regardless of choir, will be either scales or vocalises. And I say or vocalises because our 4 to 6 treble will have a series of vocal exercises they will do, and our middle school and high school singers will do a series of scales, one ascending and one descending in the same recording. Please do not submit them separately. They would need to be one file. A break can be in between those, and a reset of key is, of course, allowed between each of those opportunities. And you can see the key and the direction of those scales provided for you here, ascending and descending for each voice part. The same is provided for each choir and each voice type. We can keep going. Upload number 2 will be an assigned repertoire excerpt. It's accompanied. ACDA and SWACDA have provided the tracks and an edited copy of the PDF scores for students to prepare these audition recordings for all elements that we have asked our students to prepare. This year's audition piece for the treble choir will be Skip to Benlou, composed by Francisco Nunez or arranged by Francisco Nunez. As you can see here, it gives the piano will begin in measure 5, singers begin in measure 9, and will sing through beat 4 of measure 45. If you click on the link that is highlighted in blue, that is a folder that will take you to the resources you need to either rehearse or record those requested files. And then the materials are repeated for the different voice parts that are below. And then the third audition element is the self-selected solo performance. And I think the biggest question we get is like, is a hymn okay? Do we have to start at the beginning of a song? Can it be a cappella? There are a lot of options for students here in this regard. It can be a class taught solo. What we don't want to hear is the alto part of a class performance piece performed, and we want to hear a piece of solo repertoire that shows off the student's best vocal range, that reflects healthy tone for their age and voice type. Musical theater, pop, and jazz selections are not suitable for this audition for the graded honor choirs, and they will not be evaluated by the panel. There are some tips and recording suggestions for singers in special circumstances that we would like you to consider. Again, the only students that can be considered for multiple honor choirs are those in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade because they are eligible to be in the high school jazz honor choir, which is open to 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students. We've included it here just as a caveat and as a reminder. And then many of the expectations that are outlined in the main document, this file, are included below as reminders. So like Jeff said, there's a lot of information here. We don't expect you to be experts at this, but we've provided it as a resource that you can continually refer to throughout the audition process. And as members, you're always welcome to email Chris or I at honorchoirs@swacda.org if you have questions or need clarity about any of the policies or application process for any of the choirs.
Great. Eric, does that cover everything you think that our members and singers and parents might need to know?
I think it's a really good overview for our families. Like I said, there's not a lot that has changed. We've just trying to add a lot of clarity and a lot of detail. And so we just ask that you don't go on autopilot, don't assume things from year to year. Please just reflect on the information that's provided. I know the national office is providing a lot of resources to help people become familiar with the submission process. Directors are strongly encouraged not to wait until the last week or the last several days of the submission window to begin submitting their files for the audition process, because there may be issues with the upload. You may have technical difficulties. Please don't wait until the end and try to bulk upload all 30 of your students in 3 days. Record, upload, record, upload, record, upload. Go through that process in a way that makes sense for your program and in a time frame that makes sense for your program, but one that allows you some flexibility to edit and go back and address challenges that you might have as you're learning a new system. The national office will be putting out helper videos for directors that might need some assistance, and they're going to be putting out some reminders about renewing your membership and what you can and cannot see when your membership has expired on the website. So to hopefully eliminate some of the stress of onboarding and access, if you see some things that don't match with what you expect to see in this new system. So just to reiterate, we are not using Opus. Don't go to use that system. Don't look for that system. And the audition portal will be linked on our website, but will mainly be accessible through your ACDA member portal.
Great. Well, thank you. That's so much information, and it's really detailed. It's really thorough. So thank you for your diligence and work in putting all of that together. I know that was no simple task to assemble all that information, but it looks like it's all there for people to read through. I would encourage directors and those with questions to go through that material with a fine-tooth comb. But then after that point, that's when you can ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we've got one more piece of information to share with our directors and our members is that the screening process is not a mystery. It is not a secret. And if you would like to be a part of that process, there is an application to be a screener on our regional website at SWACDA.org. And we would love to have your participation in this process. You're also going to probably receive emails from our honor choir organizers. We've got 10 honor choir organizers taking care of the graded honor choirs. And I know Beth Enlow-Fritz for the high school jazz choir, has been reaching out consistently to our jazz members to recruit screeners. We would love your participation. We would love your engagement. And what better way to learn more about this process and understand how we serve kids through it than to assist with the screening. And so be on the lookout for responses or calls to action and respond to those if you would like to learn more or just kind of be more involved in this process and see how you can serve kids and be engaged. We're always looking for more hands to make the work lighter. Our team is from all kinds of states, and so Missouri and Texas and Arkansas, and we love even more of our members from Colorado and New Mexico and Kansas to get involved, and in Oklahoma to plug in to that screening process and take on some of the leadership of this organization's inner workings. And so we're excited to include you, and we'd love to see your name pop up on that form over the next couple of weeks if you're interested.
Yeah, regarding that, I saw some small murmurings somewhere online of folks concerned that they wanted to apply to be a screener, but that their membership had not been, often their districts pay for their membership, and their districts had not received their budgets yet to be able to pay for that membership yet. So is there a deadline or a screener deadline when you're accepting new screeners?
I would love for you to go ahead and fill out that application. My only barrier to assigning you is that when we go to assign, I will confirm that your membership is current. I will reach out to you if it's not and see what the barrier to renewal is. But you're in good company. My district budget doesn't open until Wednesday of next week, and we've been teaching since August 9th. So you're in good company on that. That being said, the good thing about the ACDA membership, it is good from a year from the renewal date, not a calendar year, not an academic year. So as soon as you're able to renew it, is good for a full calendar year. And we just ask that it be good through the screening process. So if you're able to get that renewed sometime in September, as long as you're a member in good standing, we can assign you to a panel and get you trained and plug you in for the screening process that starts in October. I think if we get to the end of the September month and it's not renewed, that might be a bit of a challenge to move forward with confidence there, but please don't hesitate to apply. We will always follow up with our members to confirm that they're good, or if there's something we need to know about that renewal before we give them an actual assignment to do that. So please don't hesitate to sign up. If you've got questions or just want us to know that that's the issue, please just let us know. We'd prefer more communication rather than less. Please don't automatically eliminate yourself from an opportunity because you're worried about a deadline. Just communicate, and we'd love to include you if we're able.
Perfect. That's great information. Last thing I wanted to clarify is that this is only related to the graded honor choirs, this information. We will hopefully get to talk a little bit about the collegiate honor choir. Being a collegiate director, that's relevant to me. Yeah. Which is a little bit of a separate process. So just know that we have you in mind too, but that's hopefully coming.
Yeah, the collegiate honor choir process is in good hands with Dr. Troy Robertson from Charleston State University this year. The application process we've worked on together, it looks very similar. We are doing something awesome and by offering early bird registration discounts this year. And so please look for that information. It's actually already posted on our regional website. If you want to go ahead and check it out there, the application does go live the same day as the honor choir, graded honor choir and jazz honor choir applications on the ACDA website. So we manage our collegiate honor choir applications through our region, not ACDA, the national office. And so directors that are interested in the collegiate honor choir process for their students can jump on that process as soon as Wednesday of this week. So we encourage you to explore that website and jump on that process as soon as you're able.
That's wonderful. And the last thing I want to encourage is just to get into this process and really consider and getting your students involved in this. It is a place we have never been before for Southwestern ACDA in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And there's lots of culture, lots of amenities, lots of really cool things out there that we've experienced on our site visits. that we know our membership is going to enjoy, that we know our honor choir participants are going to enjoy. Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful conference. And Eric, I just want to say thanks again for all your hard work. I know it's not been an easy task, especially with the new roles that you have taken on, from Texas, and but really appreciative of all your work and your team as well. So kudos to you. And I think that was pretty good. I think that was pretty helpful to take people through this in a different way and talk through it a bit. So I know for my style of learning and my brain, that helps. So hopefully that's helpful for others too. So thanks today. Thanks again for joining me today on this holiday, and we'll see everybody next time. Anything else that we missed there, Eric?
No, I think we've got a great team, and we look forward to hosting you all in Albuquerque. Get those students registered and make plans to join us. The city is so walkable and the food is incredible. You're going to have a great time. The choirs are going to be fantastic, and these conductors are going to be life-changing for your students. So please come and join us. The city is awesome, and you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Thanks, Eric.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
Yeah. See you next time.